Good evening, this is Cab, here to drive you crazy. And thank you for opening up this video. Thank you for taking the time to watch this. For if you see the title right there, says 1 month. And that is exactly it. From this day until 1 month from now, I will not be here. And heck, it could even be shorter than that. I mean, the way that I see things are going now, especially with Hawaii and how terrible our situation has kind of become. You know, a lockdown might be imminent. There might be, worse travel opportunities. I mean, hopefully leaving won't be the issue since, I won't be coming back anytime soon. For most of the people who don't know, like I said, I am going to be leaving to go to the Philippines to live with my wife. A decision that really had come to us about a month or so ago, and really have been working very hard to try and figure out exactly how the process of this whole thing is going to be. A little bit of information that we have been able to figure out, and a lot of the things that we have been able to take care of so far, which is knowing that as soon as I do land in Manila, the first thing that will be done is a swab test, for me to be able to get my test taken to say if I'm gonna have COVID or not, in any matter to the point to say I am going into another country. I have no more reason to discuss about what the law would be for me as an American citizen. I am going to another country where this thing is, a pandemic for a global scale. It's however the country chooses to go about it, and that's the way I have to respect it. Luckily, knowing just from the information that I was able to get, I am gonna have to possibly stay at least 3 to 5 days inside the airport. Luckily, if maybe not, where they're gonna keep me in a location where I might be separated from other people, or maybe it's like a hotel that I have to pay for myself. Regardless, I have no problem with any of that kind of things. It's just knowing that the first couple of days I am locked down in Manila's airport, and then get the test. If negative, I do have someone that I'm going to be able to go and talk to immediately to go to the immigration bureau and take care of all the paperwork that I needed to be able to live there for the 5 years that I have set forth to being there, and know that I'm going to be completely covered for all of that without any worry about having to go and fill out any extensions or information for extending visas. All that will be taken care of as long as I get that done. If I end up testing positive, that is gonna just have to be another 2 weeks of quarantine that I will have to go through. And then by that point, unfortunately, I will need to have some kind of plan for that kind of thing, because I don't have anyone that could be able to provide anything for me. I could try to do, like a setup to have food deliveries. Those kind of things are opportunities for me to, have while having to deal with all this. I don't know. Again, it's still a lot of things that will need to be figured out, because right now, basing off of all the information that I have for what is, at least understood and comprehended by this point. Other things that have been problems is knowing that, of course, as soon as I do get through all the paperwork to, get myself the legal way to live there in the Philippines, the next thing I'm going to have to do is actually fly down to her. And received a lot of information about the airport that I'm supposed to go to, which was that airport was supposed to be on a temporary to somewhat extended lockdown, because there was a mild outbreak that had happened in that general area General Santos. But there are other locations that I could go down to, just further distance away from where my wife would be, and a lot more travel that would mean for me to actually be able to get down to her. But luckily, we are trying to work all these kind of plans out right now and still try to figure out all these little things. The big problems were obviously just knowing when is going to be the available time to really fly down. So again, I had established for September 24th to be my official last day here in Hawaii before I'm flying out. But again, it can be even potentially anytime sooner now. Still trying to figure that kind of stuff out with Philippine Airlines, on knowing that if I can be able to change it for an earlier flight, of course it would be by, seat availability. But looking for the potential of anything earlier, if the potential of knowing that Hawaii ends up going on a shutdown or anything like that. Other things that I really would like to just talk about and discuss is just knowing that it is going to be 1 month now, and the way I look at it is the couple of days that I still have to be here, I hope to try and do some things that I would like to, say I can go and maybe get to places that I haven't had to eat for a long time because of the shutdown, or maybe even just go driving around to do a little bit of sightseeing, to check out some of the areas and see some of the locations that I haven't been able to go to for such a long time on the island before I know it's going to be gone. One thing that really is the biggest standout as well is just knowing that I am going to be turning 29 in a couple of days as well, which it's one of those like weird birthdays, that's that birthday right before you turn 30. So I don't know, for me I just call it the weird birthday, and knowing that this is basically the weird birthday that's going to be establishing my future, a decision that I've have come to full understanding that I am making, and I'm happy to make this decision because I love my wife. So a lot of people who know that I've been struggling a long time throughout my whole life with trying to mess up on my words a little bit, I guess, but just in being in a relationship. So to know that I finally had someone who was willing to go that extra mile for me, and I can't thank her enough for everything that she has done, because she's done so much more than I could ever even think about repaying her, besides obviously showing her the compassion of being her husband, providing her our child, soon to be. And I'm just happy to know that being here in Hawaii, I got to meet a lot of people, got to develop myself around a lot of different characters, a lot of different places that I really was able to go to for these things. Anything from my high school time to the people who I got to meet from outside of high school, that extended myself a little bit out of high school, to my earlier times in college, the people who I got to meet with, and just the kind of person that I ended up becoming, developing into myself, and ended up becoming the person who I am right now. I am going to miss everything about this place, because it's going to be something that I'm going to not be able to see for the next 5 years. I hope to be able to see a few people. I know like I mentioned, I will have at least my family members swing by, drive by to greet me a happy birthday, and probably a final farewell before I'm leaving. And hopefully that I can be able to talk to some people. I don't know, again, how this whole COVID thing is going. It's going to be really hard to really reach out, to extend out to people who I haven't seen in a long time. but hopefully I can be able to have a chance to talk to some people, be able to reach out in these next, I think it's basically like 30 days that I will still be here before I'm gone. But thank you again for listening to this video. I'm getting a little bit of emotional about this because I know there's a lot of people who I'd like to say hi to and know that it's something I can't really do. And there are a lot of people who I know who have left Hawaii, and I was not able to really have like a last goodbye with them or have like a last time to really spend time with them. So that's why it sticks to me to know that I have this one last chance to do this, because unlike other people, they can have a chance to come back and visit and come back within a couple of years or whatever to be able to revisit family. While for me, I fully understand that as soon as I'm up there for that 5 years, it's for the 5 years. There's no true chance to really come back as far as I know. I probably can, but the problem with it is I don't know if I can be able to bring my wife or my child with me at the time. So that's why it's a lot of stuff that still needs to be worked out, a lot of things that will be taken care of legally during these next 5 years, which will be like process for paperwork for me to come back with my wife and my baby as well. Thank you very much for listening. I am Cab, and I am here to drive you crazy. Thank you again for listening. God bless. Take care, and aloha.